September 2nd, where there was a second strike that killed 2 survivors. Was it a war crime or was it legitimate combat during war? That seems to be how it goes down partisan lines. We'll have more about where this goes from here. Will there be hearings? Will there be oversight? Will we hear from Republican senators on the Armed Services Committee about this? A lot of questions. But first, there's something we want to show you here. Dramatic video of a U.S. citizen being forcibly detained by federal agents in Florida. The incident filmed by a Miami Herald reporter who got a tip that ICE was conducting a traffic stop enforcement operation in Key Largo. It shows a woman in medical scrubs being stopped by ICE and Customs and Border Patrol agents, being pulled out of her car and wrestled to the ground as they attempt to handcuff her. As agents try to restrain the woman and place her in their vehicle, she can be heard pleading to agents and screaming to those watching that she is an American citizen. Take a listen. The Miami Herald reports that officials say the unidentified woman was detained because she refused to roll down her window or provide her driver's license. The officials also say that she was initially pulled over because she was driving her boyfriend's car, who they claim is an undocumented immigrant. The paper reports that agents later found her license in the car and confirmed that she is in fact a U.S. citizen. She was released afterward. Joining us now, the Miami Herald reporter who took that video, David Goodhue. David, I have a lot of questions, but I'll let you start. What questions did this entire situation raise in your mind, and what more do you know about this woman?
We don't know a whole lot about her, actually. I tried to follow her when she got back into her car, but by the time I got out of the parking lot, she was pretty far down. I went to a local hospital, which is about 13 miles away, thinking she might be a medical staff there since she was wearing scrubs. But anyway, I lost her. I think her boyfriend may, because of his status, I don't think she's that. I think she's pretty reluctant to talk to anybody, especially in the media right now.
And what about the way these agents, Border Patrol officers, aren't there certain rights people have? Do they have to roll down their window? What are the protocols that potentially are being crossed here? Because I'm seeing a lot of videos that, some of them you can't corroborate them, where windows are being bashed in and people are being dragged out of their cars. This is the United States of America. I'm just curious what the rules are.
Yeah, we're looking into a lot of that because it's pretty. There's some discrepancy between what local police can do, local and state police can do, and what federal agents can do. We're actually trying to get to the bottom of that because when I first came upon the scene, the window was up, but then there was a lot of argument going back and forth. But so.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you were there, what you had heard was going on in the area, and what else you might have observed?
Yeah, they've been doing I got a tip to go down there. Where I'm based out of is about 40 miles north on the mainland from Key Largo. Got a tip that they were conducting these operations, and then went down there. They've been doing them for about 3 weeks now, concentrating on Key Largo. Key Largo is the Upper Keys, the very northern part. So they had been concentrating on lower Keys from like Big Pine down to Key West. But now they seem to be concentrating on Key Largo, which is, it's interesting because a lot of people who work in the Keys don't live there. The Keys are very expensive to live in. So a lot of your hotel staff, a lot of your kitchen staff and everything, they live on the mainland and they commute to the Keys, especially the Upper Keys, because it's not that far from like Homestead and Miami-Dade County. So these operations are going on from rush hour, basically. They wrap up about 10:30. By the time everyone's at work. So it's hard to say that they're not targeting people who are on their way to work.
So we should also keep in mind what Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh said, where it's like, well, if a U.S. citizen is detained, it would be a minor inconvenience. Well, let's be clear. Even if she wasn't
traumatic.
Yeah, even if she wasn't held all that long in terms of hours or days, unlike some have been, that was clearly traumatic. She was clearly very, very upset. That's clearly a very hard moment, contrary to what the justice has sort of put forth. David, as a last question, we have not seen Miami and the region around it get the surge of ICE, like at least that in-your-face surge that other cities have received, Chicago and the like. Now, I know some of that's probably local politics. It's much more of a Republican state, and Republican mayor in Miami. But is there a sense that more could be coming? Is there a belief there on the ground that this could be one of the areas that the federal government looks towards next year?
They've been in the Keys for a while. Like Key West has had a lot of federal agents. Now, ICE did call me. This operation was not ICE. They wanted to let us know that this was Border Patrol and Customs and Border Protection. It gets very confusing, as you all know, that they're all under the Homeland Security umbrella. But ICE went out of their way to call us and say this was not them.
Oh,
we should also note.
Okay.
There's been some reporting. Actually, The Atlantic recently about how Border Patrol has actually taken the lead on a lot of these raids rather than ICE.
Okay, so ICE and Border Patrol are conducting raids like this with masked people.
But notable that they're
dragging
trying to
people out of
distance
cars.
themselves from it, right?
This one wasn't ours. I mean, wow. Reporter for the Miami Herald, David Goodhue, thank you very much for your reporting. Thanks for coming on the show this morning. We appreciate it. All right. Newly released government data examined by the New York Times shows that a majority of immigrants arrested during major ICE crackdowns in large cities had no prior criminal record. The numbers made public after a lawsuit by the Deportation Data Project shows that during high-profile operations in Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and across Massachusetts and Illinois, over half of those arrested had never been convicted of a crime. What's more, the most common prior offenses were nonviolent and primarily made up of DUIs and traffic violations. Gene Robinson, for anyone who might have heard from the president, including myself, that we really are going after the worst of the worst. Don't want to see videos of mothers and children being separated. We don't want to do that. That is long gone, especially looking at this data.
Yeah, it's long gone. Of course, the president continues to insist that people who are being rounded up are indeed the worst of the worst. They are not. They are immigrants, I guess without papers, most of them. And it's just typical of this administration. I mean, facts are I was going to say optional, but facts aren't even on the menu. It's just whatever he cares to say, and so this is just simply a false statement. That's not what they're doing. They're rounding up people who are trying to get to work. That's what they're doing.
David, after watching the way that the president has campaigned on immigration for the last really 10 years, central to the argument was always the idea that people who are in the country illegally who are doing crimes should be taken out. I mean, that was